Good day everyone! Isang mapagpalang araw po sa inyong lahat at sa lahat po ng ating mga viewers. Nawa po ay nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan, ligtas sa anumang kapahamakan, mamuhay kayo na may pag-ibig at kapayapaan sa inyong mga puso. At ang akin pong imiminsay ngayon, ang akin pong topic ngayon ay Mark of the Beast or 666. Mga kapatid, meron pa akong video dito na naihanda at na-research ko ito at napanood ko mismo ang video na ito na siya mismo ang taong ito ay siya po mismo ang magpatutuo na talagang yung tinatawag po natin na Mark of the Beast or 666, meron po silang gagawin. Meron po silang, naghahanap na lang po sila ng panahon o tiyempo para po ito ay maisakatuparan na po. Sa katunayan nga po ay tapos na po ang project na ito at siya po mismo ang magpatutuo na nalalapit na po ang 666 or Mark of the Beast, sapagkat siya po mismo ang project engineer na gumawa nito. At nang nabasa niya po ang Bible, doon niya po na-realize na ito pala ay sa demonyo pala, ito pala ay kay Satanas pala itong ginagawa niya. So kaya nga po, sa takot niya po at siya po ay nananampalataya sa Panginoon, ito po ay nagbigay po mismo siya ng testimony at siya po mismo magpatutuo na siya mismo ang may gawa. Isa po siya sa mga founder o gumawa nito na ito pong 666 or Mark of the Beast ay malapit na po nilang maiskatuparan. At siya po mismo ay may video at ipapanood ko po sa inyo mga kapatid at kayo na po ang bahala. Kayo na po ang bahala mag-judge kung ano po ang ibig sabihin ng video na ito. At panoorin nyo po mabuti. Huwag po kayo magmadali. Tapusin nyo po ang video at malalaman po natin na ito palang itong 666 or Mark of the Beast pala ay nalalapit na pala mga kapatid.
My responsibility was project leader or the senior project engineer. We began to work on the design of a microchip that, when it was completed, was 0.75 millimeters in diameter, 7 millimeters long. It was the size of 1/4 of a grain of rice. Again, I want to say that I was not a Christian and there were no Christians there. They said they wanted this to have a power source and be able to emit a signal. And they told us they wanted us to use lithium as a battery source. Lithium's used in watch batteries, it's used in heart pacemaker batteries, it's used in a lot of places. I designed into this microchip a little charging circuit that would charge that battery. This sounds like a lot of technical things coming together, but if you'll bear with me 1 minute, you'll see what God has laid out about this microchip. When we discovered that we needed to be able to charge that battery, I needed a temperature change, a change in temperature to cause current to flow through that little charging circuit that would charge the battery. So we began to investigate and find out where in the body does the temperature change the most rapidly. We spent over $1 million in taxpayer money, and when the results came back, there was a lot of information. We divided it up amongst 3 teams, and then came back together with that information. It was determined that there were 2 places in the body that were ideal for the microchip. One was just below the hairline on the forehead. Every mother checks their child's temperature right here. So we could have paid the mothers $1 million and saved. I never saw a mother check their child's temperature on their ankle. Always right here. The other place was the hand, the right hand preferred, because most people are right-handed. This didn't bother me, and it didn't bother anybody else on the team. The hand seemed a good place. Nobody wanted it here. And so the design work, everything was completed, the microchip was done. You're seeing it now on some of the Discovery Channel presentations. There are people who have received it already. It is real. It's not something that's coming way down the road. They gave me a Bible. They told me not to read the book of Revelation. They said the book of Revelation is too hard to understand. So I waited, and I didn't read the book of Revelation for quite some time. Then one day I came to Revelation 13, verse 16. And he caused us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. I didn't like what I saw. I went back and looked up the word mark. I went to the Strong's Concordance, and I found that John had used 3 words for the word mark. Charagma, charicature, and charax. That was from the Greek. I looked at those words. They talked about a scratch or an etching. They talked about a lot of things. And I said, God, this isn't it. We didn't do it. He said, go to the word for 666. The word is chixastigma. In the Greek, it says to go to 4742 as a cross. The last half of the word chixastigma. And when I looked at what it says stizo, i.e. to stick, to prick, a mark incised or punched into for recognition of ownership. I thought about the little injection tool. The end of it is called an incisor. I began to weep and I began to cry, and I said, oh God, what have we done? I couldn't believe that this lined up with what we had developed. And I began to run from God. I didn't run away from the church, I ran into the church. I tried to do as many things as I could to atone for this. But I want to tell you something, as God is my witness here tonight, this got in the way. Money got in the way. I had beautiful homes overlooking the lake. I had all the things that I wanted. And I ran because of the money. My ability to go and get $250,000 in research money took me away from telling the message. I ran for many years. What I want to tell you is that this is real. The microchip implant is real. Credit cards are failing. They can be counterfeited. The new smart card can be counterfeited. They can be stolen. They can be lost. All kinds of things can happen to a card. But you cannot lose your hand. Very quickly they're going to move to this being in the hand. And I tell you, as a Christian, you cannot take this. No matter what anybody says, God's word says you cannot take it. No matter what they try to talk you into, God's word says don't take it. In Revelation 14, verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. It's very simple. God's word says do not take it. Today there have been over 15,000 babies that have been given the positive identification, the microchip. Many companies are using the microchip as identification in their top-level employees. The Immigration Naturalization Service has a better passport, the human hand. So many of these things are all around us. We talk about the signs of the New World Order. God has spelled out in His Word just exactly what's going on today in the New World Order. Satan desires to have a one-world government. From the time he fell, he said, I want a one-world government. He wants to replace God. And so we see a government put together by men, a one-world government. The signs of the times are all around us.
Ayan po, napanood po ba natin ang video at natapos po ba natin? Yun nga po, Sabi nga ng Panginoon, doon nga po sa mga matatakan, nakakatakot po yung parusa na ating sasapitin pag tayo po ay nagpatatak. So huwag po tayo magpatatak at tayo po ay manatiling tapat sa ating panampalataya. Sabi nga po dito sa Revelation 13:16-18, sa pilitang pinatatakan ng ikalawang halimaw ang lahat ng tao sa kanilang kanang kamay o sa noo. Maging sila'y dakila o hamak, mayaman o mahirap, alipin o malaya. At walang maaring magtinda o bumili malibang sila'y may tatak ng pangalan ng halimaw o ang bilang ng katumbas ng pangalan niyon. Kailangan dito ang karunungan, maaring malaman ng sino mang matalino ang kahulugan ng bilang ng isang tao. Ang bilang ay 666 or 666. Yun nga po, yung napanood natin kanina. So ito po ay tapos na nila, nag-aabang na lamang po sila ng tamang panahon upang maisakatuparan nila ito, yung kanilang plano. So nanawagan po ang ating Panginoon na huwag tayong magpatatak, sapagkat pag tayo po ay magpatatak ay hindi po tayo maliligtas at tayo po ay paparusahan ng Diyos. Doon nga po sa Revelation 13:16-18, so maaring mangyari po talaga ito sapagkat ito po ay nakasulat sa Biblia. Nawa po sa mga Kristiyano ay manood po tayo at magmasid po tayo, maging observant po tayo. At wag po tayo basta-basta agad magpatatak o magpalagay ng microchips na ito sapagkat ito po ay sa demonyo po ito. Sabi nga po dito sa Revelation 14:9-12, at sumunod sa ikatlong anghel na sumisigaw, sinumang sumamba sa halimaw at sa larawan nito at nagpatatak sa kanyang noo o sa kamay ay painumin ng Diyos ng purong alak ng kanyang puot na ibubuhos sa kupa ng kanyang galit. Pahirapan sila sa apoy at supri at sa harapan ng mga banal na anghel at sa harapan ng kordero. Ang usok mula sa apoy na nagpapahirap sa kanila ay patuloy na tataas magpakailanman. Araw at gabi ay maghihirap ng walang pahinga ang mga sumamba sa halimaw at sa kanyang larawan at ang mga natatakan ng kanyang pangalan. Ito'y panawagan na magpakatatag ang mga hinirang ng Diyos at ang mga sumunod sa mga utos ng Diyos at nanatiling tapat kay Hesukristo. Amen po. Yan nga po, ang sabi po natin Biblia. Pag ang isang tao po ay natatakan na po nito, wala pong exemption dito. Mayaman man o mahirap. So nawa bigyan po tayo ng Lord ng kalakasan pag dumating po ang panahon na ito. Huwag po tayo magpatatak sapagkat paparusahan po tayo ng Diyos. Sila po ay paparusahan at talagang itatapon sila doon sa apoy. Sila ay papahirapan araw at gabi. At sila po ay walang kapatawaran po ang kanilang gagawin pag sila po ay magpatatak. Kaya nga po nananawagan ang ating banal na Biblia na, ating banal na kasulatan na magpakatatag kayo sa ating panampalataya at maging tapat tayo sa ating Panginoong Kristo sapagkat ang 666 or mark of the beast na ito ay malapit na ito maisikatuparan. Kawawa po ang mga tao na nasa syudad, lalong-lalo na po yung mga mayaman sapagkat hindi po sila papayag din matatakan sapagkat manghinayang po sila sa kanilang mga pera sa bangko, manghinayang sila sa kanilang mga pinaghirapan at paano sila makapag-business kung di sila magtatak. Doon naman po sa mga mahirap, hindi po makakabili ng mga pagkain kapag wala po tayong tatak ng 666. So kailangan po natin mas ligtas po pag ikaw ay nasa bukid, ikaw ay nasa probinsya sapagkat maaaring magtanim ka doon. Pwede kang mag-alaga ng mga hayop, magtanim ka ng mga gulay, mga halaman. So makaka-survive po ang mga nasa bukid. So kawawa po ang mga taga-syudad sapagkat wala po silang tanim doon. Talagang mapipilitan sila magpatatak upang makasurvive. Pero sabi po ng Panginoon, magpakatibay kayo sa inyong panampalataya. Huwag kayong papayag na matatakan sapagkat pag natatakan ka na nito ng mark of the beast na ito, itong 666, wala nang kapatawaran. Diretso impyerno na ang bagsak mo nito pag bumaba ang Panginoong Jesucristo. So nawa ay na-bless po tayo sa aking mensahe at magkita-kita po tayo muli sa next vlog ko. Bye and see you again. Good night.